recall what we discussed so far? So last class, okay, we said, okay, let's just think about two people. Okay, we have two person. The first person is the certified CPA medicine. Second person is a painter mason. Okay, so both of them have two jobs. The job to paint the house, the job to prepare the tax file. Okay, if you look at the blue part, you'll find out Madison, probably younger, I don't know, but he spent only 30 minutes to paint the house. But Mason, even he's a professional painter, it take him 40 hours. Okay, and then for the Madison, of course, certified CPA, he filed tax 2 hours, and Mason 10 hours. So basically, this one tells you from the blue part is for two jobs, painting and prepare tax file, Madison doing better on both of them. Okay, to compare to other people, you will be more productive. Okay, more productive means in the same amount of time you can produce more, or at the same job it takes you shorter time. So either way means you are more productive compared to other one. So in that case, this we call it the absolute advantage. Either can produce more output from given resource, or you use less resource to produce the same amount of output, but most of either way will be more efficient. So in this situation, we can see medicine will be more efficient on both of them. So medicine has absolute advantage on either paint the house or prepare the tax file. But we do know no matter you're medicine, you are mason, you only have 24 hours, 7 days. So in that case, does medicine need to do both painting and prepare tax? We said, let's see how much costs them, okay? So medicine to paint the house, we said 30 hours, but as a certified CPA, our wage is $50. So if he used that $30 hours to paint the house, his opportunity cost is 1,500. Okay, for the mason, 40 hours times 15 minutes, 15 hours, $15 per hour. Okay, even longer time take him to paint the house, but his hourly salary is cheaper, so it only costs 600. So for Madison, he really shouldn't paint the house because he can hire mason to paint the house, pay 600, and use the hours to do the CPA job and earn 1,500. So that will be benefit for him. So this we said is not absolute advantage. That we call it a comparative advantage. Means who's gonna produce at a lower opportunity cost. Okay, so see if we paint the house, Madison's cost is 1,500. Mason is 600. So in that case, Mason need to paint the house because he is painted at the lowest cost. Okay, let's take a look at the file the tax return. To file the tax return, Madison 2 hours times $50 100. So the opportunity cost for him to make the file of the tax return is 100. But the Madison 10 hours, even each hour is only $15 worth of his work, but it's longer time. So time together is 150. So in that case, Mason shouldn't file the tax on himself because Madison filed the tax is have lower opportunity cost. It's only $100. Okay. Any question here? Okay, so the idea here, try to bring it out is you don't do everything on what you're good at. Okay, so in that case, you need to do something, or you need to hire somebody to do it with the lowest opportunity cost. What means lowest opportunity cost? Means is resource wise is cost less. Okay, so if that kind of give you the entry level of understand the comparative advantage, the next one is going to be explained in the full picture. Okay, so here, don't worry about the number. Let's just take a look. Okay, we have two countries. These two countries, one is United States, another is Mexico. So this is just pure model explanation, okay? Has nothing to do with the real world, okay? So I want to emphasize that. So just if in case you want to argue with me, okay? All right, so this is pure just for the understand on the theory of this international trade, okay? So we say, all you can think is in island called United States and island in Mexico. Both of them, let's say they both have 100 people, okay? And then they produce two things. They either produce vegetable or produce beef, okay? That story sounds familiar. Remember in chapter 1, the very first chapter we are in this class. Let me bring the whiteboard, okay? In the very beginning of this chapter, chapter 1, we talk about the PPC curve. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. We said the PPC curve, we have A island. A island only have 100 people. These people either make a shelter or they can make the food. If they use all the people make shelter, no food produced. If they use all the people to make a food, no shelter produced. If some people go food, some people produce shelter, some people produce food, guess what? You're gonna be in the middle. And all the maximum combination of food shelter you can produce will be the PPC curve. Okay, is that ring the bell? Yes, I hope. It's only like 3 months ago. All right, so we're gonna use the same PPC curve to help you understand international trade, because if you look back, for the international trade, we assume we have country for United States, okay? United States only have 100 people, okay? They produce two things, vegetable and beef, okay? Maximum vegetable beef you can produce along the line. But for the PPC, we said it's bowed outward because we know not all the people are good on produce shelter or the food. So in that case, if you force the people who know how to produce shelter to produce food, your opportunity cost will be increased. So, but the bow curve is hard to analyze. So in that case, in this PPC curve, assume that 100 people, they both good at produce vegetable, both good at produce the beef. So it's a straight line. This straight line, just like if you have $100, okay, you can either produce, let's say $5 of drink, or you can purchase, I don't know, well, $5 of taco or $2 of drink, okay? And then if you put all $100 to the taco, 20 taco you can purchase. If you put all $100 on the drink, 50 drink you can get, okay? Any combination between them is the different combination of drink and the taco you can get with this $100, okay? Did that ring the bell?
Yes.
That is a budget line. Okay, so because we have to draw a straight line because that $100 is good on either bike, drink, or taco. Okay, so we have same assumption. Those resources you use in US or Mexico, they good on plant vegetable and they both good on make beef. Okay, so in that case, that is a straight line of PPC curve on both country. So let's move back to this one. Okay, so in that case, we have 100 people in US, and if all of them produce vegetable, then they can produce 30 vegetable. And if this 100 people, they decide they all make the beef, they can make 30 beef. Okay, so I draw the PPC curve. Okay, any combination, let's say A, that means that 100 people, they can produce a combination of 12 union of vegetable and 18 union of beef. Right. Am I going too fast? Yes?
No.
Okay. All right. So in that case, let's look at Mexico. So we said we have Mexico. Mexico, we have 100 people. And that 100 people, if all people gonna make vegetable, they make 20 union of vegetable. And if all people going to make the beef, they can make 10. So I draw the line between 20 union of vegetable and 10 union of beef. Okay, without any further explanation, just from these two charts, you notice one thing. US can produce more vegetable because all resource produce vegetable is 30. Mexico, all resource produce vegetable is only 20. So in that case, we can see US has absolute advantage on making vegetable. Okay, so it's good or more productive or more efficient on making vegetable. So let's look at the beef. If you look at the beef, interestingly, US is good on making beef too, because all the resource making beef, they can make 30 units of beef, but Mexico only 10. So US are good on making beef as well. So US has absolute advantage on making beef and vegetable. Okay, so you have 100 people. Okay, are you going to produce both? Okay, so let's actually take a question on that. Okay, so what they are saying is, when US use all vegetable, all the people to produce vegetable, 30 vegetable produced. And if they use all people to make the beef, 30 units of beef of you're gonna make. So in that case, you simplify both of them by divide by 30. That tells you if you want to produce 1 unit of beef, you give up 1 unit of vegetable, vice versa. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. So by looking at that, remember, any more beef you want to produce, you give up the resource to use that resource to make a vegetable. So vice versa. So make 1 vegetable, you give up 1 beef. Make one unit of beef, you give up 1 vegetable. Okay. So here that is the situation for US. But for Mexico, let's take a look. Okay. Mexico uses all the resource. They can make 20 units of vegetable. However, if they use all the resource to make a beef, they can only make 10 units of beef. So in that case, if you take a look, is you either make 20 units of vegetable, and if you give up all 20 units of vegetable, you get 10 unit beef. So divide both part left and right side on 10. Then we find out 1 vegetable, or divide both part by 20. Then 1 vegetable you produce in Mexico, you give up half of beef. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you divide both part by 10, then you find for Mexico to produce 1 beef, you give up 2 vegetable. Okay, so let's take a look on this part. So US produce 1 beef, produce 1 vegetable, gave up 1 beef. But Mexico produce 1 vegetable, only give up half beef. Which one costs less if you produce a vegetable? Mexico, right? Think about that. Mexico, if they want to produce a vegetable, they only need to give up half of beef. But for American, they need to give up the whole unit of beef, right? So in that case, it costs less beef on Mexico to produce a vegetable. That makes sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if you look at that, okay, cost US 1 beef to make 1 vegetable, but here cost Mexico only half a beef to make a vegetable, okay? So Mexico to produce a vegetable has a lower opportunity cost, right?
Right.
Okay, so Mexico to produce a vegetable, their opportunity cost is only half of beef, so it's lower. So let's look at the beef. So to make the beef, US need to give up 1 unit of vegetable, but Mexico, it need to give up 2 vegetable. So in that case, Mexico's opportunity cost on making beef is way higher than US, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we find out US to make a beef only give up 1 vegetable. Mexico need to give up 2 vegetables. So US, I put it in the red, US have lower opportunity cost on making beef because his opportunity cost on making beef is 1 vegetable. Mexico, 2 vegetable. Are you with me now?
Yes.
Okay, so we said for comparative advantage, what you need to produce is you produce something have a lower opportunity cost. So let's take a look. Well, so even US can produce more vegetable and more beef with same amount of people. We assume these two country only both have 100 people. Even US can produce more, which more productive on both sides, but we shouldn't produce more. What we should produce is we produce something we have lower opportunity cost. Mexico, on the other hand, sucks on both vegetable and beef in productivity. However, to make a vegetable, it only costs half of beef. It's way better than US. So Mexico should produce vegetable. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the result for the international trade is each country, they probably have some absolute advantage on certain good or service. However, they really should produce something he gave up less. Okay, Mexico, he gave up less beef on making vegetable, so you need to make a vegetable. US, they gave up less vegetable on making beef, so US need to making beef. So in that case, both of them were making what they have lower opportunity cost. Okay, so if US gonna making beef only, and Mexico only make vegetable, then they have to buy the other thing from the other country. Are you with me?
Yes.
Because right now what happened is US only making beef because it has lower opportunity on making beef. And Mexico only make, beef. And Mexico only make the vegetable because he has lower opportunity on making vegetable. But the US need to eat vegetable and the Mexican need to eat meat. So in that case, US will sell the beef to Mexico and Mexico sell the vegetable to US. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so what happened is, well, when you buy and sell, what is the price? Okay, so in this model, we don't have any dollar price put on the beef and vegetable. We just exchange good and service. A lot of time when two countries exchange a large amount of good and service from the government, what they do is they don't exchange dollar. Let's say US, China really need to purchase the soybean from US. Let's say US, I don't know what they purchase from China. Let's say they purchase tea from China, okay? They don't put the price on both of them. They just say, okay, if US want to purchase tea from China, let's say if I buy 1 gallon of tea from you, you need to sell 4 gallons of soybean. Are you with me? So in that case, it's good exchange good. You don't need to use currency. Okay, so let's say that's the same situation. There's no currency between these two countries. If I'm gonna buy and sell beef and vegetable from other country, I just exchange it by goods. Okay, so what is the price? Okay, so let's see. US to make 1 beef, give up 1 vegetable. Mexico to produce 1 beef, give up 2 vegetables. So if US sell the beef to the Mexico, they cannot charge something less than 1 vegetable, right? Because if I'm making one beef, I give up one vegetable. I cannot sell you one beef for half of vegetable. It's even cheaper than I produce, right? So they have to sell it a little bit higher than one vegetable, right? Yes, no?
Yes, yes, right.
Okay, so for the Mexico, yes, I only make the vegetable and I'm gonna use my vegetable to buy the beef from US. But if I'm gonna produce beef myself, it costs me 2 vegetable. So if I buy it from US, I'm not gonna pay more than 2 vegetable. Because if I pay more than 2 vegetable, I better just do it myself, right? So in that case, between these two countries, if they're gonna trade, it must be one beef to exchange some vegetable between 1 and 2. So let's use 1.5. So one beef change 1.5 vegetable. So let's take a look in US. Totally, how many beef you are going to produce? If you use all the resources to produce beef, 30 beef. So in that case, if you do the calculation, 30 beef, can I write? I think I can write here. Let me see. Okay, so one for US. Okay, I'm gonna sell my beef to the Mexican. Okay, and Mexican need to pay one half vegetable. Okay, both countries will be happy because I make one beef, give up one vegetable, and I charge additional half vegetable from Mexico. And the Mexican happy too, because if I'm making one beef, it costs me 2 vegetable. But if I buy from US, it only costs me 1.5 vegetable. So win-win on both countries. Yes?
Yes,
Okay, so let's look at the trade. Okay, US, I only focus on beef and I sell my beef, exchange 1.5 vegetable. How many maximum beef I can produce? 30. So if I sell all my beef, one beef, I can buy 1.5 vegetable. Then 30 beef, how many vegetable I can buy? Well, if you do the calculation, which is 45. Are you with me?
yes,
So if I do international trade, even I sell all my beef, I'm gonna make it exchange to vegetable. The maximum I can get is 35. Now I'm gonna draw a new PPC line, right? Because now all the combination is between 45 to 30, right? 45 vegetable and 30 beef, right? Okay, so let's look at Mexico. Okay, Mexico, I only make vegetable because I have lower opportunity cost on make vegetable. Okay, maximum vegetable I can make is 20. So if I sell all my vegetable, how many beef I can get? Okay, then 20 times 1 divided by 1.5. How did I get this number? I just flip this one. Okay. You get this one, right? Do I need to explain that?
no, we get it.
Okay, thank you. All right, if you do the calculation that, okay, let me, okay. All right, that is what I get. Can I? Okay, so here will be 13.3. Okay, so in that case, we can see the maximum Mexico gonna produce 20 vegetable. But if I sell all of them to US, the maximum beef I can get is 13, which is better than I produce myself. So the new PPC curve is like that. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is here, you find out the PPC curve actually both move outward, right? If they move outward, means there's more, if this is same combination, same vegetable for Mexico, then more beef they can get. If this is for the US, before you're gonna be here, but now even you get the same vegetable, you can get more beef. So in that case, both country, they can combine, they both can consume more vegetable and more beef with international trade. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the first model. Okay, they tells you for both country there is a comparative advantage, and what you need to produce is you produce what costs you less. Okay, the other people, the other country will produce what costs them less, and then you can exchange. So in that case, that will be the totally trade for that. But now let's go back to our assumption. Okay, two country, same size of labor force, constant cost to each country, different cost between countries. Okay, where? How to erase this part, which I don't know. Oh, I find it. Okay, so in that case, this is assumption. You can take a look, but this assumption all embedded in our model. Okay, the reason I want to explain that is, remember when you do that, what happened? Both countries can consume more and their PPC curve goes up. So that actually bring back here the benefit for international trade. A increased productivity because each country focus on what it costs less, okay, more productive, and totally increase the total output, okay, because if you look at US and Mexico, the total output of vegetable and beef goes up. And then if output goes up, each country will consume more output, increase standard of living. So that is the reason why international trade is very, very important. Without any political concern, international trade is doing following things. They differentiated the resource. Okay, so for example, in China, we have labor intensive, so many peoples. That's why Apple and a lot of big company, they outsource their labor intensive manufacture in China. Okay, and the inland Australian, very large land. Okay, they can raise cattle. Their milk is biggest export. Okay, and US, we have capital intensive, let's say Silicon Valley in California. A lot of money is dumped in that little area. Okay, and so each country, they are doing what they are best, and then they exchanged between them will be benefit for everybody. Okay, however, as what we discussed previously, economy is not really controlled by pure how it works perfectly in economic model. In the real life, there's more concern. Okay, for example, for COVID-19, all right, a lot of mask making company, they outsource their factory in China. But what happened during the COVID-19, every country, they need to secure how many facial masks they have. Then even international trade is benefit for everybody, but in a short time, they will hold whatever they have and don't want to do the exchange. Okay, so that is another concern, but it's not really economic situation, it's political situation. Okay, and also for all the countries, most agriculture good, they will give subsidies because that is very important goods in the country. Okay, and if you cannot support your people by your own resource, if the war start, then you will be in big trouble. Okay, so again, that is more concern than economic, but here I want you at least have some idea on that. Okay, but for the model, you can see it very clear. Without international trade, maximum you can only consume 30 beef or 30 vegetable for US, 20 beef, 20 vegetable, 10 beef for Mexico. However, after international trade, both of them can consume more combination of beef and vegetable, so a benefit for both countries. Okay, can I move to next one?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the international trade model 1. Okay, so let me actually bring a question here. This is a question, let me see where it is. Let me see if I can find it. Assignment. Well, if it takes forever to open it, I don't know how can I share it. Okay, where it open, let me just use a quick, oh, it's here, good. Very good, very good, okay. So let's say share. Share here. Okay. So forget about discussion question. Where is the calculation? Okay, so let's take a look at the review question 26 of question 5. Okay, so there's opportunity cost ratio for fish and lumber for 2 countries. Okay, Canada, 1 fish cost, if you make got 1 fish, it costs 1 lumber. Okay, but in Iceland, to make 1 lumber costs 2 fish. Okay, so in that case, we know both countries, their opportunity cost on making fish and lumber is different ratio. Okay, so which country should get the fish? Which one should focus on lumber? Okay, so let's take a look. Canada, 1 lumber cost 1 fish, but Iceland, 1 lumber cost 2 fish. So who have lowest opportunity cost on lumber? Anybody?
Canada?
Yes. Canada, yes. Canada, 1 lumber only cost 1 fish. Iceland, 1 lumber cost 2 fish. So Canada is cost less, only 1 fish on make lumber. So who should produce lumber? Canada. Okay, if Canada produce lumber, let's say Iceland. If you do the calculation here, 1 fish, to make 1 fish in Canada cost 1 lumber. Okay, how about Iceland? 2 fish, 1 lumber. So if you're gonna make 1 fish, it's gonna cost 2.5 lumber. Okay, so in that case, who is making fish cost less lumber? Iceland. So Iceland need to specialize on the fish. So this is right. Okay, any question here?
No.
So this is possible question for your assignment. And let me see if I can. Gosh. The computer I'm using is from school, so it takes forever for me to move this. Oh, come on. Yes. All right. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So the next one is saying, all right, we have two countries, they're making watch and cheese. Okay, Switzerland and Japan. All right, so they are asking which following is the good exchange ratio. This exchange ratio, we give it a special name, is also called the term of trade. Okay. So in that case, we need to know this ratio. Okay, which is here. Okay. So Switzerland, okay, to make one cheese, they need to give up one watch. Okay. Japan, to make one cheese, okay, it costs 4 watch. Okay, so apparently we know Switzerland have lower opportunity cost on making cheese. So Switzerland should focus on cheese. In Japan, if you flip this, that means one watch is only cost half of cheese. So Japan need to focus on watch. So we already know who need to produce what. Okay, but when Switzerland, they're gonna make the cheese and Japan make the watch, they're gonna need to trade. Okay, so how the term of trade gonna need to be figured out. Okay, we already discussed in the Mexican and the US situation, but let's take a look. Okay, so we said Japan is going to make the watch and Switzerland are gonna make the cheese. Okay, so Switzerland are gonna sell the cheese to Japan. Japan sell the cheese to Switzerland. Okay, but how they gonna exchange? All right, let me ask you. Is this gonna be good trade? Switzerland make one cheese and sell it for half of watch. That is not gonna work because it costs me one watch to make one cheese. I will not sell anything below one watch, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's not gonna work. So let's take a look at this. One cheese, if you need to buy one cheese, you need to give up 5 watch. So let's say Japan. It costs me 4 watch to make one cheese. Then I'm not gonna buy it from Switzerland and cost me 5. If it's gonna cost me 5, I better just do it myself, right? That makes sense, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in that case, these two can exchange, but that exchange must be between 1 watch and 4 watch. So in that case, this is not gonna work, this is not work. Let's say this one, yes. This one looks tricky, but if you convert it, move this to the other side, 1 cheese, half of watch, too cheap because it's smaller than 1 watch here, so not good. Okay, how about this one? Okay, half of cheese, 1 watch. Okay, you move this times 2 on both sides equal to 2 watch. Okay, that looks a good deal, right? Because Switzerland can sell 1 cheese for 2 watch, is higher than how much cost them to make, and then it's cheaper than how much costs Japan to make. So this one and this one are both good idea. This one and this one are both very good idea because that is between 1 cheese equal to W1, well, sorry, between 1 cheese costs 1 watch to make 1 cheese in Switzerland and is higher than Japan. You make 1 cheese, it costs 4 watch. So anything between 1 and 4 will be good idea, right? Okay, let me clean it up so it looks better. So anything between one watch, okay, has to be bigger than watch. That is how much cost in Switzerland, and it has to be less than full watch because it's the how much cost in Japan. Okay, you cannot buy something more expensive than how much I'm gonna need to make. So in this chapter, if you understand those principles, okay, on who gonna produce what and what is the term of trade, okay, also we call it exchange ratio, then you'll be good on this model. And the next class on Friday, we're gonna discuss the second model. Any question?